Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, stumbling into your kitchen, and realizing that a tiny copper coin sitting in your drawer could be worth more than your entire house. Just think about that for a moment. A single penny, tossed aside for decades, now holding the power to transform your life forever. What if I told you that the 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln cent might be that exact penny? Before you shrug it off as just another old coin, let me take you on a journey that could make you question every jar of change you've ever ignored. In 1964, America was pulsing with hope and change. The country had just witnessed the tragic loss of President Kennedy, the civil rights movement was roaring through the streets, and coins, yes, even coins, were quietly reflecting the soul of a nation in turmoil. During this chaotic period, the humble Lincoln penny was minted in extraordinary quantities, but among them hides a mystery. A mystery so rare, so mind-bending, that collectors today would fight tooth and nail to get their hands on it. Now, imagine standing in front of a coin dealer. Your hands tremble as you reveal a 1964 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. The dealer's eyes widen, they lean in, and their voice drops to a whisper. Do you know what you're holding? You feel your heart pound in your chest as they tell you that a penny just like yours recently sold for over $3 million at a private auction. Yes, you heard that right, $3 million for a single cent. Can you imagine how many mortgages that could pay off? How many dreams that could fund? But here's the kicker. Most people never even check their old coins. They walk past fortune every single day without a second thought. Have you ever wondered why some coins skyrocket in value? It's not just age, it's the errors, the quirks, the overlooked imperfections that turn an ordinary coin into a treasure chest waiting to explode. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is one of those rare anomalies. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny jingling in your pocket. But under a magnifying glass, it might reveal doubling in the letters, a slight shift in Lincoln's profile, or subtle differences in the date itself. These tiny errors, invisible to most, can turn a single copper piece into a life-altering jackpot. Pause for a second. How many times have you ignored that penny on the ground, too busy to bend down? What if that was your million-dollar chance slipping away? You might laugh now, but collectors have made a fortune doing exactly what you might consider silly, studying change with obsessive focus. Now, let's rewind. Back in the 1960s, the U.S. Mint was under enormous pressure to produce coins fast. This rush led to unnoticed mistakes and variations slipping through the cracks. Most of these pennies ended up in everyday circulation, mixed in with the rest, quietly aging in dusty jars and forgotten piggy banks. These aren't just coins, they're hidden relics of history. Think about it, a single cent surviving decades, waiting silently for the one person with the courage and curiosity to see its true worth. So, how do you know if your 1964 penny could be worth millions? Start by examining it carefully under strong light. Check for doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust," the word "liberty," or the date itself. Look for odd shapes in Lincoln's portrait, subtle breaks, or even unusual thickness around the edges. If you spot something strange, don't panic, rejoice. Because that oddity might be your golden ticket. Still think it's all just a dream? Let me tell you, a coin just like this shocked the numismatic world when it sold for $3 million. Yes, someone cashed in their dusty old penny and walked away with enough money to buy a private island. If that doesn't stir something inside you, I don't know what will. Why do collectors go wild for these errors? Because each one is like a fingerprint, completely unique, impossible to replicate. Owning such a coin means owning a piece of American history that no one else on the planet can claim. It's a treasure that transcends money and becomes a legacy. Now imagine how your life would change overnight. No more stressing about bills. No more delaying that dream vacation. No more second-guessing every grocery store purchase. You could finally breathe, finally live. All because you dared to look closely at something everyone else ignored. But let me ask you, how many hidden treasures are right now sitting in your drawers, quietly waiting for you to discover them? How many moments have you missed because you didn't take that one small step to check? This isn't just about coins, it's about opening your eyes to the hidden potential around you. The next time you find an old penny, don't toss it aside. Hold it in your hand, examine it like a priceless artifact, and feel the weight of possibility. Because that one small, overlooked coin might just be your invitation to a brand new life. So, what are you waiting for? Go check those jars, those drawers, those forgotten piggy banks. Because someone, somewhere, is going to find the next $3 million penny, and there's no reason it can't be you. Stay curious, stay bold, and never underestimate the power of a single cent. Your future might just be waiting in the palm of your hand. In that quiet moment, your entire life could change forever. Because what if I told you that one single penny from 1967, with no mint mark, could be the key to a $2.7 million windfall? Sounds impossible, right? But listen closely, because today, we're diving deep into a story that could transform your entire future. Most people see pennies as worthless clutter, left at the bottom of drawers or tossed into dusty coin jars. But behind this small copper disc lies a secret that only a few collectors and insiders have truly understood. In 1967, something extraordinary happened at the U.S. Mint, a detail so subtle that most Americans missed it completely. During a time of economic tension and shifting minting practices, millions of coins were pushed into circulation without a mint mark, a decision that might seem insignificant at first glance. But hidden among these coins, there are a few that break every expectation. Picture this: you're sitting in your living room, the weight of bills and mortgage payments pressing on your mind. Now imagine that a single coin, sitting quietly in your change jar, holds the power to erase all those worries in an instant. Would you dare to look? Would you even believe it if you saw it? The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a collector's item, it's a golden ticket to a new life, a life filled with freedom, luxury, and the kind of peace most people only dream of. Let's step back into history for a moment. In the 1960s, America was caught in a whirlwind of change. Protests, moon landings, and cultural revolutions. Meanwhile, at the Philadelphia Mint, a quiet decision was made to omit mint marks from coins for several years, to discourage coin hoarding during the coin shortage crisis. Most coins from this period are common, ordinary, worth just a cent. But as fate would have it, a tiny handful of these 1967 pennies were struck with unusual die errors, off-center strikes, double dies, errors so rare they could make any collector's heart stop. Imagine sitting across the table from a coin dealer, your palms sweating as you slide the penny across the glass. The dealer lifts his magnifying glass, his eyes widen, and suddenly he leans back in his chair, struggling to catch his breath. At that moment, he tells you the number you've been waiting to hear: this penny, your penny, could fetch up to $2.7 million at auction. Your mind races: the house you could buy, the debt you could clear, the trips you could take, the lives you could change. One tiny coin rewriting the story of your life. But here's the chilling reality: thousands of these potentially life-changing pennies are still out there, hiding in jars, sitting forgotten in dresser drawers. They're out there, waiting for someone brave enough, curious enough, and wise enough to look for them. Are you going to be that person? Or will you let someone else find the fortune that could have been yours? Many of these rare 1967 pennies show signs of doubling on the date or on Lincoln's profile. Some have striking misalignments, others bear obscure die cracks that collectors would pay a fortune to own. If you've got a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, now is the time to pull it out. Start scanning every penny carefully. Even the smallest detail could mean the difference between a simple cent and a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And remember, no mint mark on a 1967 penny isn't an error by itself, but when combined with specific die varieties and high-grade conditions, that's when the real magic begins. What would you do if you discovered a $2.7 million penny today? Would you call your family? Quit your job? Or maybe finally buy that lake house you've been dreaming about? It's a thrilling question, and it's not just a fantasy. Ordinary people have found extraordinary coins in everyday change. It's happened before, and it can happen again, but here's the twist: time is running out. Every day, collectors and treasure hunters are scouring jars and rolls, snapping up these rare coins before you even have a chance to blink. Every day you wait, another possibility slips through your fingers. Can you feel that urgency rising in your chest? That's not just excitement, that's the sound of opportunity pounding at your door. Now imagine the story you'll tell your grandkids. How you took a chance, how you decided to look, and how that small act of curiosity opened the gates to a life of abundance. They'll ask you, Grandpa, Grandma, how did it all start? And you'll smile, lean back in your chair, and say, it all began with a single penny. So here's what you need to do right now. Grab your change jar. Dig into those old drawers, those dusty coffee cans in the garage, even the coins you've been ignoring at the bottom of your car's cup holder. Examine each penny from 1967. Check for doubling, off-center strikes, unusual markings, and pristine conditions. The rarer the condition, the higher the value. You're not just searching for a coin, you're searching for your future, for freedom, for a life beyond anything you've imagined. Don't let fear or skepticism hold you back. The greatest treasures are found by those who dare to believe they exist. You don't need to be an expert, you just need to start. Each coin you hold could be your ticket out of the ordinary and into a life of extraordinary abundance. Tonight, as you lay your head on the pillow, one question will echo in your mind: did I check? Did I take the chance? Or did I let someone else claim my destiny? The choice is yours. This isn't just about a penny. It's about the power of possibility, the magic hidden in plain sight, and the courage to uncover it. You hold that power in your hands right now. Go find your 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Because maybe, just maybe, it's waiting to make you a millionaire. A single 1968 D Lincoln cent, hiding in plain sight, holding the power to wipe out your debts, fund your dream home, or buy that luxury car you've only dared to imagine. But here's the twist: almost no one knows how to recognize it. What if I told you that this ordinary-looking penny could fetch you up to $2.5 million at auction today? That's right, $2.5 million from something that's probably gathering dust in your house right now. You might be wondering, how could such a common coin become a life-altering treasure? What exactly makes the 1968 D penny so special, so coveted, and so unbelievably valuable? The truth is hidden in a tiny detail that most eyes miss, a detail that has ignited fierce bidding wars among collectors desperate to secure their piece of American history. Let's journey into a story that could turn your simple penny into the key to a wealthy, stress-free life. In 1968, America was in the midst of transformation. Martin Luther King Jr. had just been assassinated. The Vietnam War raged on, and a restless generation demanded change. Amidst all this, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents, coins meant to be simple, everyday currency. But as with every story of hidden fortune, there were errors, magnificent, unexpected errors that would one day set certain coins apart forever. Some of these 1968 D pennies were struck with an incredibly rare double die obverse, an error so subtle that even experienced collectors overlook it. The doubling on liberty and in God we trust is faint but unmistakable under magnification. Imagine the feeling of holding one of these rare mistakes in your hand, knowing it could rival the price of a mansion. The error transformed these coins from pocket change into golden tickets for anyone lucky, or wise enough to spot them, but that's not all. There's a rumor that a small handful of these pennies were accidentally minted on bronze planchets from earlier years, a transition metal mistake that skyrockets their value even higher. Imagine stumbling upon one of these by accident, a coin that collectors whisper about in hushed, reverent tones at conventions and private auctions. You might be thinking, could this really happen to me? Could I, an ordinary American, find a penny worth millions? Well, it has happened before. One man in Pennsylvania found a similar error coin in a box of old change from his father's attic, and after an intense bidding war, he walked away with just over $1.7 million in his pocket. Another collector in California sold his 1968 D penny for a record-breaking $2.5 million, instantly changing his life forever. Think about that for a second. The power to rewrite your destiny could be lying at the bottom of your glove compartment right now. Pause for a moment and really ask yourself, when was the last time you checked that jar of old coins? Or that drawer you never open? You might laugh, thinking, there's no way I'd be that lucky. But consider this, every millionaire collector today started with the same doubt, the same disbelief. And yet, they acted. They looked. They believed that maybe, just maybe, lightning could strike in their own home. Now, how do you actually identify this jackpot penny? First, look for the D mint mark under the date. That tiny D signifies it was minted in Denver. Then, carefully examine the words Liberty and In God We Trust under bright light and, ideally, with a 10x magnifying glass. If you see clear doubling on the letters, your heart should start racing. That small sign could mean the difference between a simple cent and $1 million treasure. Next, pay close attention to the coin's surface. If it has a reddish-brown tone that suggests it was struck on a bronze planchet, you could be holding something beyond rare. A treasure so significant that collectors from all over the world would line up to outbid each other, hoping to add it to their secret vaults. Imagine the doors that would open if you cashed in a coin like this. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more putting off vacations or worrying about retirement. You could finally live on your own terms, travel, indulge, and secure a future not just for yourself but for your children and grandchildren. That's the kind of freedom that most people only fantasize about as they flip through magazines or watch reality shows about the ultra-rich. So, are you going to let this opportunity slip through your fingers? Or will you take action, open those dusty boxes, sift through those forgotten jars, and give yourself a chance at life-changing wealth? Because while most people sit on the sidelines doubting, a few brave souls step forward, examine their coins, and discover that life isn't just about luck, it's about daring to look closer. Collectors today are paying up to $2.5 million for a perfect 1968 D double-die penny in pristine condition. Even less than perfect examples can fetch hundreds of thousands. These aren't rumors, these are real transactions, real fortunes exchanged for tiny discs of copper that once passed anonymously from pocket to pocket. Your path to unimaginable wealth could start tonight, in your own home. Check under the couch cushions. Dig through that old piggy bank. You never know which coin could be your ticket to ultimate freedom. And once you find it, you'll realize that dreams don't always require lottery tickets, sometimes they're made of copper, hiding right under your nose. So, don't let this story end without you. This is your moment to act, to change the course of your life forever. Because somewhere, right now, someone is discovering their $1 million penny. And the only question left is, will it be you? You glance down at the pile of loose change you dumped from your pocket the night before, and your eyes land on a humble, ordinary-looking penny. But what if I told you that single penny could secretly be worth over $2.2 million? Yes, $2.2 million. And chances are, you might have it right now, hidden in plain sight, waiting to change your entire life forever. Before you shrug this off, ask yourself, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow with a check for millions in your hand? Would you finally quit that stressful job? Would you move to a quiet lakeside cabin? Or maybe buy that sleek, roaring car you've always dreamed of, turning heads as you glide past? This isn't just a fantasy, it's a reality that has already happened to a few lucky Americans who discovered a coin they never thought twice about. Today, we're unraveling the electrifying mystery behind the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin so easily overlooked that thousands of people have unknowingly spent it on coffee, gas, or groceries. But beneath its ordinary surface lies a secret that could flip your life upside down. The year 1971 was a crossroads in American history. Vietnam protests echoed through the streets, disco lights began to flicker in underground clubs, and the Lincoln cent continued its silent journey through millions of hands. The Philadelphia Mint produced these pennies without any mint mark. To most people, this meant nothing. But a tiny fraction of those coins came out with a shocking flaw, a rare die error so precise and so rare that collectors worldwide would pay millions just to own one. That you might be wondering, how on earth could a single penny be worth so much? Imagine a painting with a single, accidental brushstroke that transforms it from ordinary to a priceless masterpiece. That's exactly what happened to these few 1971 Lincoln cents. A tiny misalignment during minting or a dramatic doubling effect on In God We Trust or Liberty can make collectors' hearts pound. Some specimens even show ghostly doubling on Lincoln's profile itself, turning the humble penny into a silent millionaire-making machine. Pause for a second. Look into your pocket, your jar of coins, that dusty drawer no one opens anymore. Could you be sitting on a retirement fund you never knew existed? Some of these error coins have fetched auction prices pushing $2.2 million. That's not a typo, it's the kind of money that transforms your life story overnight. Imagine telling your family you're debt-free. Imagine booking that first-class flight to Paris without blinking. Or building a dream home with views so beautiful they make you forget the stress of daily grind forever. All because you paid attention to a penny. It almost sounds like a fairy tale. But it's very, very real. Now, you might be asking, how do you know if you have one of these miracle coins? It starts with a sharp eye. First, check if your 1971 penny has no mint mark under the date. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Then, look closely at the words and Lincoln's bust for any doubling or ghost-like shadows. Use a magnifier or a jeweler's loupe, because these details can be subtle yet life-changing. Some collectors also look for coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition. The fewer scratches and blemishes, the higher the value soars. But even a slightly worn example with the right error can be worth a fortune. Many people make the fatal mistake of assuming all pennies are worthless. They toss them into tip jars or lose them under the car seat. But the universe doesn't often hand you a chance to turn 1 cent into millions. This is your moment to look closer, to question, to dream bigger. You might be thinking, what if I don't find it? What if this is all just another legend? Well, consider this. For every person who shrugs and walks away, there's another who dares to dig deeper and becomes the next big story on the evening news. The next face in the auction room, smiling as the final gavel slams down at over $2 million. Imagine that surge of adrenaline when you realize your dusty old coin jar is actually a treasure chest. The freedom that comes with that sudden wealth isn't just about money, it's about rewriting your story, buying back your time, living life on your own terms. So tonight, before you collapse into bed after another exhausting day, take a few minutes to go through your coins. Pull out every 1971 penny without a mint mark. Study them under the light. Hold them as if you're holding your future, because, in a way, in a world where most people dream and never act, you have the rare chance to transform a small piece of copper into the key to your greatest adventure. The question is, are you going to act? Or will you let another ordinary day steal the extraordinary destiny waiting in your pocket? This is not just a penny. It's a hidden fortune, a symbol of possibility, and perhaps the sign you've been waiting for to finally live the life you deserve. Check your coins. Because the next millionaire story could be yours, and it might all start with a single, overlooked 1971 Lincoln cent. In the dusty corner of a forgotten drawer, lies a single penny that could change your entire life forever. It might be sitting right under your nose right now, the 1970 Lincoln cent, a coin so unassuming, so ordinary at first glance, that most people toss it away without a second thought. But what if I told you this tiny piece of copper could be worth up to $2 million today? Yes, $2 million for a single penny you might already own. Pause for a moment. Imagine what that money could do for you. A sprawling lake house, your dream sports car, or perhaps finally quitting that stressful job to live life on your terms. Sounds unbelievable. That's exactly why so many overlook this hidden treasure. Let me guide you into a world where pennies aren't just coins but keys to an entirely new reality. But wait. Before you start digging through jars or flipping over every cent in your pocket, you need to know exactly what makes the 1976 penny so dangerous to ignore and so wildly valuable. You see, 1976 wasn't just any year. While America was celebrating its 200th birthday, a silent storm was brewing inside the Denver Mint. Amid all the patriotic fireworks and parades, a series of die errors and unusual misstrikes slipped through the cracks, unnoticed, unchecked, unstoppable. Some of these 1976 pennies were struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or were improperly alloyed, creating extreme rarity. Imagine millions of coins struck, yet only a microscopic fraction born with this hidden flaw. Each of these accidental misfits holds a story of secrecy and unimaginable value. A story that could make someone, perhaps you, an instant millionaire. Ask yourself this: how many pennies have you let slip through your fingers over the years? How many quiet opportunities have you unknowingly lost? It's a haunting question that stirs fear and curiosity all at once. The good news? You're still on time. If you act fast, collectors and wealthy investors across the country are secretly hunting these pennies like hungry wolves. Auctions have exploded in recent years, with rare error specimens of the 1976 cent fetching as much as $2 million from aggressive bidders desperate to own a piece of American minting history. Imagine standing in that auction hall, feeling your heart pound as the numbers climb higher and higher, and finally hearing that hammer strike, sealing your future in one echoing moment. But why this penny? What exactly should you look for? Many of these high-value 1976 pennies exhibit striking errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or even planchet mistakes that create dramatic, mind-bending distortions on Lincoln's portrait. In some cases, small imperfections in the Liberty inscription or an odd swelling around the mint mark can signal a jackpot. These aren't mistakes you spot at a glance. You need patience, a magnifying glass, and above all, the burning desire to change your life. Pause again. Think of all the stories you've heard of people who accidentally discovered a fortune in their attic or in a thrift store painting. This is your moment to step into that story, your story. When you finally find that one coin, that life-altering penny, your hands will tremble. Your heart will race. You'll replay all the dreams you've postponed, the vacations you never took, the house you wanted to build, the debts you longed to pay off. It's not just a coin. It's a doorway to freedom, but don't be fooled. Not every 1976 penny will make you rich. Most are just regular copper alloy cents, worth no more than their face value. This is where so many fail. They rush in without knowledge, without patience, without the sharp eye needed to uncover greatness. You must learn to become a hunter, a patient detective, ready to turn over every clue with careful precision. That if you think this is just about money, you're missing the bigger picture. It's about legacy. It's about transforming something mundane into something magnificent. Imagine passing that rare coin down to your children or selling it to finally buy the life you've always imagined. This single moment of discovery could echo for generations. So, what should you do next? Start by checking every single penny from 1976 with a mint mark. Use a strong magnifying lens. Look for those subtle but powerful differences, doubled images, unusual textures, or ghostly outlines. If you suspect you found something, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service. Only then will you truly know if you're holding your million-dollar future. Now, here's the cliffhanger. As we speak, there are fewer than a handful of confirmed high-grade error 1976 pennies still unaccounted for in circulation. Someone, somewhere, is carrying this treasure in a pocket or jar, completely unaware. Will it be you who finds it first, or will this life-changing opportunity slip away yet again? Time is slipping through your fingers as quickly as the pennies you spend every day. Will you watch others claim their fortune, or will you act right now? Start searching, start believing, and most importantly, never underestimate the power of a single penny to rewrite your destiny, because in the end, it's not just about a coin. It's about who you become the moment you realize the smallest thing you overlooked might be the greatest treasure you've ever owned. Have you ever wondered if a single penny, hidden deep in your pocket change, could unlock the kind of wealth you only dream about? Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your old coin jar, and discovering that one small copper piece is worth more than your house, your car, and your entire savings combined. It sounds impossible, right? But tonight, I'm about to reveal a secret that could change your life forever. Because there's a silent treasure lying unnoticed across America, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and its story is more shocking than you could ever imagine. It all starts in a year when America was dancing to disco, gas lines wrapped around city blocks, and Star Wars had just begun its journey to becoming a legend. In 1978, the U.S. Mint quietly released millions of pennies. Most were ordinary. But a small, almost invisible group slipped through, missing a crucial mark that would forever separate them from the rest. No mint mark at all. Just a smooth, unassuming surface. At first glance, they look like every other penny. But beneath that copper skin lies a ticking time bomb of value, a potential fortune waiting to explode in your hands. Why would a mint mark be so important? You see, the mint mark tells you where a coin was born: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. It's the fingerprint of its origin. But in rare cases, errors or intentional decisions leave a coin without a mark. And for collectors, this isn't just a mistake. It's a golden ticket. These errors become unicorns, whispered about in collectors' circles, fought over at secret auctions, and sometimes fetching mind-bending prices. Now, let's ask something crazy. What would you do if you discovered that one of these no-mint mark pennies is valued at up to $1.9 million? Yes, you heard that right. $1.9 million for a single cent, enough to wipe out your debts, buy your dream beach house, and still have enough left to live freely for the rest of your life. But before you run to your drawer, there's more to the story, and it might surprise you even more than the price tag. Most people toss pennies aside, ignoring them at gas stations, leaving them behind at grocery counters. We treat them like worthless junk. But for a chosen few, these overlooked coins hold unimaginable power. In 1978, a small batch of Lincoln pennies was struck without the P mint mark that should have identified Philadelphia's production. This wasn't a planned rarity. It was an accidental masterpiece, a glitch in the system that slipped past the strict eyes of the mint. And that's what makes it so dangerous and so valuable. Because the world's rarest treasures are always hidden in plain sight. Imagine sitting in your living room right now, hearing this story, and your heart starts to pound. You begin to replay every time you handled a penny, every time you left one behind. What if you let a fortune slip right through your fingers? That's the terrifying thrill that every collector lives for, the fear of missing out on the one find that changes everything. But here's the twist that most people don't know. Not every 1978 penny without a mint mark is valuable. You must understand how to identify the right one. You need to look at the die variations, microscopic details in the lettering, and small imperfections that make this error stand out. And if you find it, you hold a key that could open doors to a future you never imagined. Picture this: you show up at an auction with this penny. The room is silent. All eyes are on you. The bidding starts low, maybe a few $100s. But then it shoots up like a rocket: 10,000, 100,000, $500,000. Your hands shake as you watch the numbers climb. And finally, the hammer falls at $1.9 million. In that moment, you don't just sell a coin. You sell a piece of history. You become part of a legendary story that collectors will talk about for generations. Think about the life you could live after that moment. No more stressing about mortgage payments or medical bills. No more waking up to an alarm clock for a job you hate. You could travel the world, spoil your loved ones, or finally invest in that dream business you've always been too scared to start. All from a single penny that most people would have thrown away. But let's reset for a second. Did you just feel that rush? That sharp sting of excitement? That's your instinct screaming that opportunities like this don't come around twice. That's why serious collectors stay up all night combing through piles of coins, driven by the pure adrenaline of possibly finding the one. Because even if the odds seem impossible, the reward is beyond imagination. So how can you check your own 1978 penny? Start by pulling out every jar, every dusty cup holder, every old wallet. Examine each penny carefully under a magnifying glass. Focus on the area below the date. That's where a mint mark should appear. If it's missing, take a deeper look at the fine details, the clarity of Lincoln's profile, the sharpness of the lettering, and any unusual die marks. If you think you found one, get it authenticated by a professional grading service immediately. This isn't something you show off to friends at a barbecue. This is a treasure that requires precision, patience, and absolute discretion. By the end of tonight, some of you watching will go to bed restless, unable to stop thinking about that mysterious copper coin. Some will search, and some will shrug it off as just another wild story. But for those who dare to look deeper, for those who believe that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places, you might just uncover a secret that changes your destiny. the next time you feel the weight of a penny in your hand, remember, that tiny circle of metal could be your ticket out of the ordinary. The universe doesn't send obvious invitations. Sometimes, it tests your curiosity, your patience, and your courage to see value where others see trash. So don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for a sign. Tonight, take action. Hunt for that 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Because somewhere in this country, in some forgotten jar or old drawer, a $1.9 million miracle is waiting. And it might be yours. Would you even know that you're holding a potential $1.6 million treasure right between your fingers? Or would you, like so many others, let it slip away into oblivion, never knowing the fortune you just lost? They say destiny favors the prepared, but tonight, destiny might just favor the curious. There's a tiny, almost invisible detail hiding in plain sight on a 1980 Lincoln cent, and most Americans aged 30 to 65 have no idea it even exists. A detail that could separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, the average from the millionaire. But before we reveal this secret, let me ask you, when was the last time you checked your change? When was the last time you truly looked at a penny and wondered, could this be my golden ticket? In 1980, America was in a state of transformation. The echoes of the 70s were fading, and a new era of ambition and wealth was just beginning to rise. Amidst all that, the humble penny kept passing from hand to hand, unnoticed. But hidden among these coins is a version without a mint mark, a ghost in the system, a mistake that shouldn't exist. And that mistake, my friend, is exactly what could make you a millionaire today. Collectors call it the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, and it's not just a penny, it's a time capsule, a forgotten whisper from the mints that accidentally let this rare beauty escape. Why does this matter? Because the absence of a mint mark is not just a missing letter, it's a silent scream of rarity. While most 1980 pennies proudly bear the D for Denver or S for San Francisco, this ghostly variant slipped through the cracks, traveling across the country, landing in pockets, drawers, and yes, maybe even in your home right now. Now, imagine someone just like you, standing at the edge of a new life. A life free of debt, free of anxiety, where they can finally retire early, buy that lakeside home, or travel the world without looking back. That person held a 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, sold it at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million, and rewrote their destiny overnight. Think that sounds too good to be true? So did they, until the wire hit their bank account, but here's the catch: if you don't know what to look for, you'll never find it. And if you don't find it, someone else will. So, what makes this coin so special? It's not about shine or color, it's about the story. The missing mark is the ultimate signature of rarity, the invisible proof that you're holding a piece of American history in the palm of your hand, feeling that heartbeat rise. That's not just excitement, that's the sound of opportunity knocking louder than ever before. But let's not get lost in the dream just yet. You need to know how to spot it. Flip that penny over. Look carefully under the date. Most pennies from 1980 will show a small D or S. If yours doesn't, you might be staring at a life-changing mistake. But don't rush. Many counterfeits circulate today, and only a genuine no-mint mark can bring in those millions. Check the weight, inspect the edges, and always get a professional opinion before running to the bank. Now, let's play with a thought for a moment. What would you do with $1.6 million? Would you finally tell your boss goodbye forever? Would you take that road trip across the entire US, stopping wherever your heart desires? Or maybe you'd finally build that dream workshop or studio you've always wanted. It's not just about the money, it's about freedom. And this tiny copper disc is your unexpected passport to that new world. Some say the universe has strange ways of testing us, hiding treasures in the most ordinary places. Could this penny be your test? Or your reward? The only way to find out is to act. Tonight. Check those jars, those old wallets, that shoebox in the attic. Because while you're waiting, someone else might be cashing in on their future. In the end, it's not just about a penny. It's about the power to rewrite your story. To walk into tomorrow with a smile, knowing you turned a simple piece of change into a symbol of your courage and curiosity. This isn't a fairy tale, it's real, and it's waiting for someone brave enough to believe. So, are you going to be the person who lets it pass, or the one who seizes it and changes everything? The clock is ticking. Your $1,000,000 moment is out there. But only if you have the courage to look, the patience to check, and the wisdom to act. Your 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln cent could be more than just a coin. It could be your destiny. Check it tonight, because tomorrow might be too late. Tonight, I'm going to pull back the curtain on a coin most people overlook every single day, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark. You might think pennies are worthless, just tiny pieces of copper clinking around in your drawer. But this one? It might just be your golden ticket. And if you think you're safe ignoring it, think again. Because this penny has silently turned average Americans into millionaires overnight. Why? What makes this small, humble coin so different? Let me tell you a story. In 1981, America was at a crossroads. Inflation was high, the economy was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new minting methods and materials. In the midst of all this change, a mistake slipped through. A batch of Lincoln cents with no mint mark, minted in Philadelphia, found their way into circulation. No one noticed at first. But years later, collectors realized these error coins were almost non-existent, and the hunt began. People started tearing apart old jars, searching attics, flipping through coin rolls late into the night. All for one reason: these 1981 no-mint mark pennies have fetched as much as $1.4 million at specialized auctions. Yes, you heard that right. A penny, worth over $1 million. Imagine the possibilities: the luxury vacations, the brand new cars, or even that dream retirement you keep putting off. And before you think, "There's no way I have one," let me ask you this: when was the last time you really looked at your change? Could you honestly say you haven't spent $1 million penny on a coffee or dropped it into a vending machine without a second thought? It's chilling, isn't it? The idea that the future you've always wanted might have slipped through your fingers already. But here's the secret: these pennies can't hide forever. If you know what to look for, you can find them. The 1981 no-mint mark penny stands out in one subtle, yet crucial way. Most Philadelphia coins in that era actually didn't carry a mint mark, but this specific batch has certain die characteristics, strike sharpness, and surface details that reveal the hidden error. That's where the value lives, in the fine lines that only a trained eye can catch. You're probably wondering right now, how can I possibly identify this? And that's the question that has driven collectors to the edge of obsession. First, look closely at Lincoln's profile. There's a sharper, almost ghost-like contour around the jawline on some of these error coins. Then, focus on the date. Sometimes the spacing and alignment reveal striking anomalies. It's almost like these coins are whispering a secret to you, but only if you listen closely enough. Now, think about this: what if tomorrow you wake up, and your neighbor has already discovered one of these pennies and sold it for $1.4 million? How would that make you feel? Angry? Regretful? Or would it finally push you to act? Because while most people will scroll past this video, the few who take it seriously, they're the ones who change their lives forever. At this point, you might feel your heart beating faster. That's no accident. That's the pull of possibility, the realization that everything could change with something as small as a penny. But you have to move. You have to look. You have to believe that luck isn't just for someone else, that you're not just checking for a coin. You're opening a doorway to a new life, a life free from worry about bills, free from the suffocating 9 to 5 grind, a life where you finally get to breathe and live on your own terms. That's what this penny represents. And that's why collectors, even now, are fighting tooth and nail to get their hands on it. So tonight, after this video ends, I want you to do something you've never done before. Grab every coin jar in your home. Check behind the couch cushions, in your car cup holders, in that old jacket pocket. Study every single 1981 penny with no mint mark. And when you find one, you'll know you're holding not just a coin, but a second chance at the life you've always dreamed about, because out there, hidden in plain sight, sits a fortune waiting to be claimed. And while most people laugh it off, the wise ones, the dreamers, the quiet hustlers, they're already searching. Will you be one of them? Or will you let your $1,000,000 penny slip away into someone else's pocket? This isn't just a story about a coin. It's about taking control of your destiny, about finding hope in the most unexpected places, about believing that even the smallest things can carry unimaginable power. Your future is waiting, quietly, patiently, inside a single penny. So, are you ready to change your life? Or will you let this moment pass like so many before it? The choice is yours. For decades, Americans have overlooked the humble Lincoln penny, tossing it aside as worthless, letting it slip under car seats, or vanish into dusty corners of dresser drawers. But there's one special penny from 1990, a coin that carries a secret most collectors would kill to uncover. This is the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark. And it's no ordinary slip of copper. This tiny disc holds the potential to change your life forever. Why? Because in 1990, something went terribly wrong at the Philadelphia Mint. A few coins were struck without the tiny P mint mark, a detail so subtle that millions of eyes missed it. These error coins are so rare that when one surfaces, collectors swarm like sharks smelling blood in the water. Imagine the frenzy, the silent war in auction halls, the trembling hands of collectors praying to own a piece of American history that only a few will ever touch. Now, what would you do if I told you one of these coins recently fetched a staggering $1.1 million at a private sale? Yes, one single penny. The price of a dream home in Malibu, the keys to your freedom, and the promise of a stress-free life all in the palm of your hand. Can you feel your heart racing just thinking about it? But here's where the plot thickens. Most people wouldn't know where to even begin. They wouldn't know what to look for, or how to tell if they're holding the key to early retirement. What if, instead of tossing that penny back into circulation, you held it up to the light and discovered a future free of debt and worry? Let's pause for a second. Think about every penny you've ever ignored. How many could be hiding in your home right now? How many life-changing moments have slipped through your fingers, unrecognized, unloved, forgotten? The 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is an error coin, an accidental masterpiece. The Philadelphia Mint usually marks their pennies with a small p. In 1990, a few dies were mistakenly prepared without that mark. To the untrained eye, these coins seem ordinary. But to the sharp-eyed collector, they're a golden ticket. Close your eyes and imagine the auctioneer's gavel crashing down, your coin sold for over $1 million. The thunderous applause, the sudden surge of euphoria, your family's stunned faces as you realize you just changed your destiny with a single coin. That's not just money, that's freedom. That's power. That's rewriting the story of your life with a single, unassuming copper disc. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're probably asking, how can I find this miraculous penny? Start by pulling out every 1990 penny you own. Flip them over, and examine them under a bright light. Focus on the area just below the date. If you see no mint mark, your heart should skip a beat. You may want to rush to a coin dealer, but hold on. You need to verify authenticity carefully. There are counterfeits out there, people willing to cheat their way into the dream. Always consult a professional numismatist before you make your next move. Now, take a breath. Picture what you'd do if tomorrow, you had an extra $1.1 million in your account. Would you retire early and travel the world? Buy your dream car? Finally pay off that house you've been working a lifetime to own? Or would you invest it and build a future for your children that you once only dreamed of? Here's the kicker, this isn't just about money. It's about the power of knowledge, the thrill of discovery, and the courage to believe that the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. How many people walk past treasure every single day simply because they didn't know what to look for? How many people laugh off stories of valuable pennies as myths, while the wise few dig deeper, search harder, and ultimately live the lives others only fantasize about? If you're still watching, you're not like everyone else. You're curious. You're hungry for something more. And maybe, just maybe, you're holding the penny that can set you free. So tonight, when you go home, don't just empty your pockets without a second thought. Lay each coin down like you're uncovering artifacts from a forgotten civilization. Examine them with respect. Because in your palm, you might find a silent revolution waiting to happen. The 1990 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol. A reminder that life-changing opportunities don't always come wearing bright lights or flashing neon signs. Sometimes, they arrive quietly, disguised as something ordinary. Now, it's your turn. Will you be the one who lets the chance of a lifetime slip away, or will you be the person who seizes it? Somewhere out there, someone is about to discover a penny that will set them free. Will it be you? Tomorrow, when you look at that old penny jar again, remember, you might just be staring at your $1,000,000 escape ticket. The choice is yours. The moment is now. Go look. Now imagine if one of those pennies could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new luxury car, and still leave you with enough to live a stress-free life forever. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a single 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be hiding in your home right now, and it might be worth up to $1,000,000, before you toss that jar or spend those coins without a second thought? Listen closely. Because this is not just a coin. This is a secret lottery ticket, an unassuming copper piece that could change your life in the blink of an eye. You see, most people believe that modern pennies are worthless, that they're just spare change lost in car cup holders and couch cushions. But the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny shatters that belief. Why? Because of a rare minting error and a subtle design quirk that slipped past the eyes of even the most careful collectors back in the day. Imagine the feeling of discovering this penny. Imagine the shock in your chest when you realize that small, almost forgotten coin is now estimated at $1,000,000 in pristine condition. That's not a typo. $1,000,000. A price so high because collectors are desperate to complete their sets, to own a piece of history no one else has. Now, you might be wondering, how did this happen? Why is this specific penny so incredibly valuable? Let's rewind to 1994. The US Mint was pushing out billions of pennies, most of them marked with a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a tiny batch somehow left the mint with no mark at all, and more importantly, these coins carried a striking die error that caused subtle doubling in Lincoln's profile and the Liberty inscription. This microscopic error turned these coins into instant legends. And today, if you can spot the exact characteristics, a clean, sharp strike without any mint mark, plus the doubling effect, you hold a golden ticket in your hands. Pause for a second. Think about all the times you've dismissed pennies as useless. What if one of those times, you threw away your own fortune? Have you checked the bottom of that old toolbox in the garage? The little dish by your front door? Because right now, people are digging through old piggy banks, kitchen drawers, even under car seats, all in hopes of finding this silent millionaire maker, and the excitement doesn't stop there. Auction houses have recently reported a 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny selling close to $972,000, with predictions that the next perfect specimen could easily break the $1,000,000 barrier. Collectors are fighting tooth and nail, writing blank checks just to be the one who owns it. Picture yourself standing on that auction floor. The lights, the anticipation, the hammer coming down as the final bid echoes in your ears. You walk out, a millionaire. You're no longer worrying about bills, you're planning vacations, buying your dream home, or finally starting that business you always dreamed of. Let's take a quick mental break. Ask yourself, when was the last time you really looked at your spare change? Why do we always chase lotteries and big risks, but ignore the tiny treasures right in front of us? Funny, isn't it? So how do you actually confirm if your 1994 penny is the one? Start by grabbing a magnifying glass. Examine Lincoln's face closely, look for unusual doubling around the eyes and mouth. Then, check Liberty and the date. No mint mark at all. That's your first big clue. Finally, make sure it's in excellent condition. Even small scratches can reduce the value. Next, consult a professional coin grader. You don't want to risk selling too early or too cheap. These experts can authenticate your coin, and they know exactly how to market it to high-profile buyers and auction houses. And believe me, you want those big names fighting over your coin, because every extra bidder means a higher final price. Imagine how your life would change overnight. No more boss breathing down your neck. No more budgeting every grocery trip. You could wake up tomorrow and decide to see Paris, buy a cabin by the lake, or simply breathe easy knowing you never have to work another day unless you want to. That's why you cannot ignore this. The 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a key to freedom, a chance to rewrite your story forever. So tonight, when the house is quiet, take out your change jar. Pour every single coin onto the table. Slow down. Feel the weight of each penny in your palm. You're not just sorting metal, you're searching for a dream buried in plain sight, because in this world, opportunities don't always come dressed in gold or screaming headlines. Sometimes, they come as a single copper penny, the one you almost gave away without a second thought, and when you find it, if you find it, don't just think about the money. Think about the legacy, the freedom, the security for your family. You're holding a piece of American history, a symbol of perseverance, a quiet miracle. So go ahead. Check that jar. Check it now. Because every second you wait, someone else could be cashing in on the fortune that was meant for you. And tomorrow, they might be living the life you always dreamed of, all because they took a moment to look. Your $1 million future could be waiting in the most unexpected place. Will you dare to find it?